Inside of this video, I'm going to be going over the trades that I took this week, things that I could have done better, things that I messed up on, and yeah, I could do better. Come back next week with better risk and better setups as well. So the first trade that I looked at was on Tuesday. It was around 5 o'clock. No, wait, let me see. Yeah, it was around 5 o'clock. I saw this demand level right here based on a couple of fundamentals things happening. Before a lot of dollar news came out, like, oh yeah, GU is definitely a lot bullish. So when I saw this demand zone, I got in, hoping for like a quick little scalp. It's not a really high probability setup that I have inside of what I call a playbook, but still got in. Ended up getting in, ended up moving like barely anything, and then the market reversed, which I kind of expected. We didn't take out as soon as New York opened, we took out London lows and then reversed, took out the highs. So sometimes that happens, and that's why I don't risk that much on 5-minute setups. The next day was very unique. Um, very, 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 very unique. So the next day was this 1 hour setup right here. See, if it was just on the 15-minute, I would not have gotten in at all on this setup. But I ended up getting out at a little bit above break even, which is kind of crazy when you how far it went. Because I go for a very high risk to reward ratio. I go for a 1 for 5. So, but the trade anyways, this was CPI. This is a GPP CPI that happened right here. And as soon as the session opened, I was like, okay, I'm looking at this demand zone so we could bounce off of it. We didn't end up bouncing off when we came to the zone, so at first I was like, oh, no, it's not going to do anything. But this is also us taking out London lows. So I'm like, okay, it's like two things combined together. We have a liquidity grab, and then we also have, this is a CPI demand zone, and some things in order flow. If you guys know about order flow, some things were happening on there as well. So I'm like, okay, let me get in. So I got in, held, saw it come all the way up here, reverse some, came all the way back, and then it started reversing. So at that point, I was like, okay, let me get out at I think I got out either for a 1 for, yeah, I got out for a 1 for 1.5 or 1 for somewhere here. Because when it started reversing like this, I said, nah. I already had moved my stopped up to a little bit above break even, which happens sometimes. My 1 hour zones are my definite, like, I always go for high R&Rs on there. And I risk more as well. And then I think the next trade I took was on AU. AU did me very dirty, but it was my fault because when I woke up in the morning, I did not see that we are already tapped into this zone right here. So with my supply and demand zones, especially on the 1 hour, I don't like when a zone has already been tapped into. I like when, because if you can see, the zone was fresh. I wish I had the replay. I could show you guys, but that'd be for next video. So the zone was fresh. We we got out the zone and we left this little gap, but the gap had already been filled at midnight, and those sellers who wanted to sell off, some of them sold off right here. But in my session, I didn't even notice we tapped into it already. So I ended up getting in. Usually for AU, I trade it a little differently. I wait until it wicks the zone to get in. I got in right here, I think, aiming lower. And then the market went for this order block up here. I mean, this supply zone up here. And ended up reversing, but it had already taken me out. And then the last trade was on GU. Same thing. It was a 1 hour zone. 1 hour zone. But the main thing here again with me was like, I shouldn't have traded it, honestly, because even though we had to break a structure and everything, and it came to my zone, it did break through my zone. At least the way I draw it. But in my mind, I had extended the zone up to here, just because I saw it rejecting. But I should have just kept it as here. And when it came to the zone, it rejected a little at that as well. But it ended up reversing and going the other way. Just, I think that day we had DXY bearishness, like extreme bearishness from the DXY, based on, I don't even know. It wasn't even news that was going on, which is funny. So I was right here. No. Where did I get in at? I got in like right here. Yeah, I got in right there. Stop loss was like right there. And trade reversed. And I did not close on this one either early. So I ended up taking me out. Full loss. So I think next week, just be careful about the type of zones I'm choosing. Selectivity of my zones and my system as well. I trade basic supply and demand, but just gotta make sure I extend my zones properly. I'm not gonna be trading GU this week, like I said inside my last video. Mainly gonna be looking at AU, and surprisingly I didn't have any trades on US30 last week, but see what happens, honestly. US30 I trade mainly the 4-hour zones and the 1-hour zones. Yeah, that's my trade recap, and I'll see you guys in the next video.